Abbeville at Whitmire. Panthers trying to win a 48th consecutive region game. Whitmire in their first two region contests, allowing 45-plus points per contest. So Darius Riley and crew, despite the fact they trailed early, were ready to roll. That touchdown puts Abbeville ahead, and they never look back. Well, it got them into the end zone and cut Whitmire's early lead to 2. Panthers score the rest 57-8. The final Abbeville goes to 6-2 and keeps pace with Weir Shoals 3-0 in Region 1-1A. Welcome back into the high school red zone. Week 9 had Greer and Seneca battling at the Bobcats' home. Of course, a tough situation in downtown Seneca. Hope that all works out well. They had a fire overnight. Well, Amari Werner and company trying to make the locals forget about that. That sprint to the end zone of the third quarter made it a 28-0 lead for Seneca. Greer on a 4-game winning streak and trying to get to 5-0 in the region. Werner later with a TD extends the lead to 35-0 in the fourth. David Crane's crew getting an 8th win on the year. They improved to 4-1 with the region. And again, we've talked about it this week, important for postseason positioning.
Yeah, this one was big for us because I think it sets us up in pretty good shape to get a home game. Maybe two. I don't know about the bracket. I hadn't really looked at all that stuff, but I do know it sets us up for a good region finish. And we got a big one next week on the road at Pickens. That's always a tough place to play. Those people there really care about their football. So we'll have to put our work in next week.
And Seneca moving on. Of course, the one loss earlier came to their rival Daniel. Speaking of the Lions, well, the Lions team trying to get to 4-0 in the region, make it 17 straight against their county rival Pickens. Jace Gross began the night having not thrown an interception, and that's his 19th touchdown toss of the year. Hooks up with Trey Wimbley, made it an early 7-0 advantage. A little bit later on in the opening quarter, Kingston Bibb on the receiving end. Gross's 20th TD pass of the year, and the Lions go to 7-1 and 4-0 in the region, sitting in first by themselves, 52-7. Other action in Region 2-4A, Northern Greenville County rivals Blue Ridge and Travelers Rest. Ethan Keller with the field goal. And a 21-10 ball game as Travelers Rest cuts into Blue Ridge's lead in the third quarter. But Gavin Forrester with the keeper. He's going to get to the end zone, and Blue Ridge able to go on to a 48-24 win on the road. The teams have split their past 4 games. Over the years, that's been a really underrated rivalry in our area. Hanna and Mann, a Hanna team trying to stay unbeaten in Region 1-5A and make it 14 straight wins against Mann going back to 1986. Jamarian Boston punching it in. Yellow Jackets enter the night averaging about 300 yards on the ground. They win an 11 straight region game. Cam Aiken with a TD for the Jackets on the road, 55-17 the final. Greenwood trying to keep pace after they knocked off Greenville last week. Tristan Lewis, usually the star of the show. So tough to take down, especially when he gets in the open field. And the Eagles QB would do the honors. Caps off the drive, made it 21-0 in the second, and Greenwood goes to 9-1 all-time against Woodmont, which hasn't beaten a team with a winning record since back in August of 2022 as Greenwood wins big 49-7. Mauldin and Greenville at Serene Stadium. Greenville trying to bounce back from its first loss in a while last week against Greenwood. And the connection to Micah McClintock for the touchdown, cut Greenville's lead to 14-13. Keyshawn Farrow, though, with a nice little connection. Wes Brunson, then it set up a little trickery. They go deep in the playbook. Trip Bryant to Arkeia Shell, and that's going to get him close. A touchdown by Farrow, and Greenville moves on to the victory as they get the triumph, 21-13. Other Region 1-5A action, Hillcrest and Easley. Hillcrest trying to make it 5 in a row. Josh Smith going to go 35 yards to the score and extend a big lead for Hillcrest in the third, and they move on to the victory. Easley's been held to 24 points or less in each of its 5 losses as Hillcrest wins 49-20. Powdersville got the thrilling win in overtime last week at home against Christchurch. Region 2-3A, well, they were on the road at Palmetto and trying to make it 5 straight against one of their district rivals. Kagan Reed to Bennett Brooks that set up an Asir Waldrop touchdown. And the Panthers, I should say the Patriots, improved to 6-2 and 3-0 as they get the triumph by a final of 45-14. Other action in Region 2-3A, St. Joe's and Southside Christian. Keldon Rona going to get in for the touchdown, and it extended Southside Christian's early lead to 10-0. Jack Stewart later for the Knights. Pretty nice quarterback keep. He has hit Just before we can get across the goal line, Sam Patterson completing the drive. Show you the final, though, and Southside Christian with the win, 27-7. That's a mile upset on the road and a big win for the Sabres. Elsewhere in the region, Christchurch at Carolina. Cavaliers trying to make it 14 straight against the Trojans. Judd Wyndham and Hampton Shields on a 10-yard connection. Christchurch led early, and they cruise on to the win. They improved to 6-2 and 2-1 in Region 2 3A with a 52-20 triumph.